Hola, mi amigos. Yo soy Kai San Christopher. This is The Woodsman, and this is The Writer's Block, a book review show where I tell you if a book is good enough that I would recommend it to a friend or so bad that I would chop it in half with an axe. Today on The Writer's Block, Will by Will Smith and Mark Manson. To preface this book, no, it does not talk about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock in the face, and no, it does not talk about his wife fucking his son's best friend. Let's begin. Will is an autobiography, or a biography? We don't know. It's ghostwritten. It's a story about Will Smith's life. I think the highlights of this book are when Will Smith gets into his music career and when he gets into his acting career. One thing that is undebatable is that Will Smith is a cultural icon. From Men in Black to Wild Wild West, I can get jiggy with most of Will Smith's work. While I was not very familiar with his rap career, there are passages in this book where he goes into some scenes from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The scene where Will Smith is talking about his real father not wanting him, it just goes into the speech. I graduated high school without him. I did this without him. I did that without him. How come he doesn't want me, man? I got fucking teared up just listening to that with the audiobook. Oh, fucking memories. This is unfortunately our generation's Shakespeare. To hell with him. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. I think this book shines in the middle. It is the opposite of a shit sandwich where you have like two pieces of bread and there's shit in the middle. This is like a full course dinner sandwich between two pieces of shit. The Woodsman actually recommended this book to me, and the way he pitched it, it was like a self-help book with a bunch of stories about Will Smith's life and lots of lessons. And it starts out that way. It talks about Will Smith's father telling him and his brother to build a wall. And they're building a wall out of bricks and they're having a hard time. And his father says, you can't think about the entire project. You just have to think about the brick that you're laying and to do it perfectly. Once you do that perfectly, you move on to the next brick and you do that perfectly. And eventually you have a perfect project. And I was like, wow, a nice short, concise chapter. The next 3 chapters in the beginning of the book feel like I've stumbled into somebody's therapy session. If you were at a party and someone was like, yo, Will Smith's over there. He's going to tell us about his life story. You're like, oh shit, I'll go listen. You get there and Will Smith just goes, so my life, what you need to know is that I'm a fucking coward. And he's like making eye contact with you. I'm a fucking coward. I'm nothing. I'm so scared. I'm a puny little bitch. Do you get that? And you're just standing there going, I didn't sign up for this. Please say this in a private room with your therapist and then produce a piece of entertainment. It comes off to me not like a personal story, but just like someone trying to sound edgy. It is jarring to me to listen to, and it almost turned me off the entire book. I was talking to the Woodsman, and after chapter 3, I was like, I think I'm done. I don't want to read this anymore. But he urged me to continue, and I'm glad that I did. Because once it gets into his music career, once it gets into his film career, this book takes off. It's full of fun, incredible stories where you get a deep perspective on Will Smith's life, his relationship issues. I didn't even know he had another family with another kid. I thought it was just him, Jada, and whatever the daughter's name is, Willow. At the end of the book, it talks about him kind of coming into his role as a father, and it's got great stories about him pressuring his daughter. It's a beautiful moment where him and Willow are on stage. She's whipping her hair back and forth, and then she comes off stage and she's like, okay, I'm done. And he's like, what do you mean you're done? You can't be done. And she's like, no, Dad, I'm done. And he just does not compute it. It does not register it. And then the very next day, she's like, okay, Dad, I'll keep going. And she cuts off all her hair. And it's this like beautiful moment of this kid fucking taking control of her life. Probably the best chapter I've ever read about Monopoly is in this book. But at the very end, the book closes with this scene where Will Smith is skydiving. And he doesn't want to skydive. The book is kind of wrapping itself up in this like feel-good mentality where Will Smith is going like, how do I want to live my life? Am I going to live it scared? I've just done ayahuasca. I'm going to live my life. Here I go. 3, 2, 1. Living my life. And then we cut right before he starts slapping people in the face and his family falls apart with debauchery. If you stop the book there, you're like, wow, what a great life. I'm sure nothing else ever bad ever happened again. But that's just the problem you run into when you finish a book about somebody's life while they're still living. And this is the thing, when I'm laying the blame for this bad beginning, I can't help but turn to my least favorite writer, Mark Manson. This guy cannot write a good book beginning to save his life. Will Smith was like, how should I start this? And Mark is just being like, fucking tell everybody what a coward you are. This dude needed somebody to reel him back and go like, dude, just tell stories about your life. It's cool. Like, your personal life is your personal life. And this guy's just like, dude, air out your bullshit. It's awesome. I'm going to pass this mic off to the person who recommended this book to me and see if he has anything to say.
It's been a while since I read it, but he was like, I just want to get my whole like self-worth through like loving a woman so much that she doesn't. He's like all this like uncomfortable things. In the context of what you know to come is very uncomfortable.
That's a great point. Will's relationship with Jada Smith, the cracks start to appear. It's just him kind of pissing off this woman again and again and again. This part where he buys her a house and she doesn't want it. And he's just showering her with gifts that she doesn't want. And he's not listening to her. You look at Will Smith and Jada's kind of wrecked relationship where she's just fucking every guy. And she's like, you can do it too. Will Smith does not want to be polyamorous. He tried it. In his words, he was a ghetto hyena. He is trying to like fuck his feelings away and he's just throwing up on women. He's like, like these poor women who are just like, oh my God, I'm going to have sex with Will Smith, the movie star. Hola again, mi amigos. So our camera battery ran out and the woodsman had to go do yoga. Just to finish this up, I'd cut off the first 3 chapters. I'd leave out the end after he does ayahuasca. This book is entertaining enough, so it makes it off the block.